even though the mental thirst that we experience as our desires has been the root cause of all modern development, scientific development, technical development, material development, cultural development, etc. The root cause has been the human desire. But according to Buddha, desire is the root cause of all our suffering. In fact, Buddha's message has been translated into English, saying that the root cause of suffering is desire. Though, as I mentioned earlier, desire has been the root cause of all mental development in different aspects. The Buddha used the word, Pali word tanha, to denote the root of all desires. It comes from the Sanskrit word trishna, meaning thirst. The literal meaning of word tanha too is thirst, but the Buddha used that word to denote the mental thirst. That mental thirst Buddha has described as having three aspects. One aspect is Kama-Tanha, the mental thirst for sensory pleasures, pleasures of senses. Then the Bhava-Tanha. Bhava really means literally to be, the desire to be. That means thirst for living is one aspect of our mental thirst. Then Vibhava-Tanha, the thirst not to die, the desire not to die. There is a negative desire. Desire to live means desire not to die. And that negative desire is called Vibhava-Tanha. Bhava is to be, Vibhava is not to be. For example, we desire to be rich, we desire to be beautiful, we desire to be powerful, we desire to be strong, and etc. To be. We desire to be educated, learned, to be, and not to be. We desire not to be poor, not to be sick, not to be weak. Therefore, the desire, positive aspect, is desire to be, that is called Bhava-Tanha, and desire not to be means Vibhava-Tanha. And both these are rooted in the desire for sensory pleasures. We want to live because we want to enjoy life. Even though we think that we desire pleasurable sensory objects. Pleasurable objects for the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, etc. Buddha has mentioned our mental thirst called raga is our thirst for our own mental objects. On the page 122 of Nibbedhika Sutta, in the volume 4 of Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha has stated sankappa, rago, purisassa, kamo. Kama means mental thirst. The literal meaning is kama is magnetism. Here, kama means the mental magnetism. The mental thirst. That means the positive aspect of mental magnetism is liking. Negative aspect is disliking. We like things pleasant and dislike things unpleasant. Though we think that we like or dislike things outside us, Buddha says our liking or disliking, the mental thirst, positive or negative mental thirst, is with regard to our own mental concepts, sankappa, mental images. Because in the Rohitassa Sutta, Buddha has mentioned the entire world that we experience is not outside that but inside that. That means inside our own mind. Because we know the world outside through our sense organs, and these sense organs are never able to know the reality of any of their objects, the real nature of their objects. They give false signals to our mind, supply our mind with false information, with which we make mental images that the Buddha referred to as sankappa. And we like to entertain pleasant mental objects, get attached with them. Attachment is positive mental magnetism, resentment is negative mental magnetism. Enlightenment means the ending of both positive and negative mental magnetism. Positive magnetism called raga and negative magnetism called dosa. And the root of all such magnetism, liking and disliking. We like or dislike things and beings without knowing their real nature, the actual nature. And there is ignorance. Our liking or disliking is based on our ignorance of the reality of things. Enlightenment means the dispelling of the darkness of ignorance. And therefore, it is referred to as enlightenment. In Buddha's word, aloka udapadi, the dawn of light. Dawn of light means seeing the truth. Once we see the root, our mental thirst get uprooted, because there is the root cause of all suffering, according to the English translation of Buddha's message. In Buddha's word, he referred to the root of mental thirst as Tanha, as I mentioned earlier, it comes from the Sanskrit word means thirst, and the Tanha made out of the Sanskrit word Trishna has been used by the Buddha to mention our mental thirst. And as I mentioned earlier, it has three aspects: a positive aspect and negative aspect. And the general aspect is we like pleasant things, dislike unpleasant things, because we want to enjoy life. We want to enjoy living. We want to enjoy living means we have to enjoy the objects of our sense organs. That means we get attached to sensory pleasures. And according to Buddha, as I mentioned earlier in the Nibbedhika Sutta, we are really not attached to things and beings outside us, but our own mental concept. That is what is meant by sankappa, rago, purisassa, kamo. Rago means attachment. Kamo means mental thirst. The basic mental thirst is for pleasure. Thirst for pleasure has been realized by the Buddha as the root cause of all our suffering. Therefore, enlightenment means the complete extinction of mental thirst called Tanha. That is why enlightenment is referred to as Tanha Nikaya. Ending of Tanha, ending of mental thirst. After that, the mind is able to face things as they are. That is called yathabhuta jnana darsana. And then mind is able to accept things as they are. That is called yatarabha santuti. With no desire, with no taste, the mind is calm, quiet and happy, blissful. That inner bliss is referred to as Nibbana in Buddha's language, Nirvana in Sanskrit. Vana means speaking, sound, varna. Silent mind, that is why Krishnamurti referred to the mental bliss called Nirvana as a silent mind. Non-speaking mind, Nirvana. Buddha referred to that state as Nibbana means ni means no, bana means bondage. Attached to nothing. We resent things when we attach to something that we like. We get attached to things that we like and resent things that we dislike. Both are functions of mental magnetism. The manifestation of mental magnetism we experience as mental thirst. The desire positively to enjoy pleasures, negatively to avoid pains. We are generally attached to our living, life. We want to live because we want to enjoy sensory pleasures through our sense organs. And that is what is referred to, as I mentioned earlier, Kama-Tanha by the Buddha. The desire for pleasant things is referred to as things and beings, as Bhava-Tanha. The desire not to have unpleasant things is called Bhava-Tanha. Basically, they are the triple aspect of our thirst for pleasure. That we can gradually reduce by realizing the real nature both within and outside us. In fact, Buddha, as I mentioned earlier in the Bhava-Tanha Sutta, we really do not know the world outside except our own mental images created by the mind with the help of the signals given by our sense organs about the world outside. And we expect pleasure from outside, but the real bliss, the real pleasure is a bliss which is called nirvana in Sanskrit and nibbana in Pali. It is a mental state free from mental thirst. It's called nirvana in Sinhala, free from burning. Free from burning means free from the thirst caused by heat of the mental fire. These realities we can realize within ourselves through our own insight, and one day get really enlightened to realize the supreme bliss within us in a mind free of the mental thoughts called kama.